Well, I think I heard somewhere that the incest story you did try on Seinfeld.
No, I didn't try on Seinfeld because that was one idea. I had the idea.
Yeah.
But I didn't think that idea could ever in a million years get by on NBC, that idea.
You're right, I'm sure, but...
I didn't think the contest was going to be able to air.
What happened with that? Did you have to broach that first, or did you write it first? Did you have to say this is going to be about
no, I
personal
didn't.
gratification? And
no, I didn't tell him.
You didn't tell him?
No. Usually, I had a board up in my office, and I had titles for upcoming shows, and the executives from NBC would come to the office, and they'd go, "What's that one?" You know, and "What's that one?" And I would tell them what they were, and then when I got the idea for the contest, I thought, I'm not going to put that up there because I don't want them asking me what it's about because they won't let me do it.
Right. So
I wrote the show, and the first time they saw, and by the way, I had built myself up into such a state that I was prepared to leave the show if they didn't do it. Mm-hmm. I would have quit the show. And I built up this whole Jack story in my head, you know. So they came to the read-through, and they liked it. I couldn't believe it. And
in fact, that was a show they kind of used to make the show break through. You were on Wednesday night in those days, and
right.
behind Home Improvement, and not a hit show. Actually,
no, we weren't a hit show.
Yeah,
but I could care less about that too. Yeah.
You didn't care about being the number one show.
No.
How about when you became the number one show? Wasn't that nice?
Yeah, it was okay.
Well, I can remember them calling me up to tell me I should not miss this show coming up. The show,
really?
This show would be the show that everybody was talking about.
Yeah, yeah.
And let's face it, it now plays probably at 4:30 in the afternoon, someplace.
I know, it's wild. It's,
so it's obviously quite well accepted at this point.
But when we moved to Thursday night, people were acting like there was peace on earth, you know. Oh, we're moving to Thursday night. You know, so what? And I said, if they weren't watching on Wednesday night, I don't want them watching on Thursday night. Who wants to pick up new people who couldn't find us on Wednesday night? I didn't want them.
Well, they showed up, whether you wanted them or not.
I guess they did, yeah.
But let's talk a little bit about the technique of Curb, because it's obviously quite different, and I guess many probably know that Larry just writes, what, about a 5-page outline for the show?
2 pages off.
I'm 2 pages off.
Yeah,
7 page.
Yeah. 7 page. First year it was 5.
Oh, all right, okay.
You were right about that. And then, because I'm so paranoid I'm never going to have enough material, I never want to be short on a show.
Right.
And I always live in fear that I'm going to be short. So second season I started writing 6 pages, and then 6 to 7 pages, then 7 pages, 7 to 8 pages. The Survivor episode we talked about earlier was 9 pages. So now they're at least 7 pages and sometimes 8. Yeah.
But it's basically the scenes. It's
an outline of what the scenes are, right. And then the show is improvised.
And then the show is improvised, when do you tell the actor what he's doing in the scene? You know, when does the actor know?
Well, if the actor, usually the actors audition, so I'll read with them at the audition.
Okay.
And that's when I really know that I feel secure in that somebody I like is doing the part. Where it gets a little tricky is if you give out a part to a celebrity.
Right. Which you do often.
Yes. Not often, but once in a while, yeah.
Martin Scorsese, Mel Brooks.
Yeah, that's true, yeah.
You've done quite a few of those.
Right. So sometimes you don't know how they're going to be, and that's when you can get a little nervous.
But even the regulars on the show, what do they know when they go into a scene?
Oh, well, Cheryl...
What does she know?
Cheryl doesn't know anything, really. Yeah.
Perhaps that's best.
She started asking me for the outlines in the first year. I said, just show up and I'll tell you what to do. You know?
And so you tell her at the beginning of the scene, here's a scene, and you and I are arguing over car keys or something.
Yeah, very often. That's how it'll work. Yeah.
And then everybody's just winging it, basically.
Yeah.
And
But I'll tell her things that she really needs. I said, don't forget to ask me about why I'm wearing the same pants as I wore yesterday. You know, something like that.
yeah, but as this is going on, I imagine some of the dialogue must not work. You have to do it over several times, right?
Well, we do many takes.
Yeah. Does anyone ever say anything that really cracks you up and make you?
Are you kidding? I can't keep a straight face. I am laughing constantly when we're shooting these shows. I can't tell you. If I'm not laughing, I think there's something wrong with the show. And the times I laugh the most is when I'm being cursed.
Oh yeah.
Yes. Then I cannot keep a straight face. You fucking asshole!
Right. Yeah.
Nothing makes me laugh more than that. It's unbelievable. I don't know why that is. But as soon as anybody... Now, you remember that montage at the end of the final episode this year? When,
Yes.
When all those people cursed me?
Everybody
Every one of
cursed
those
you.
scenes I laughed at. Every single one. When people are calling me names.
I
don't
especially
know
liked
what it
you
is.
getting cursed out in heaven. I thought that was a great touch. But I wondered if the actors ever feel sort of insecure because they don't know what to say, and you have to sort of pull it out of them. I mean, it's not their usual technique, right? I mean,
The actors actually love improvising.
they do.
Yeah, they all love it. I haven't come across one actor who hasn't really enjoyed doing it. And you know what? If I had to write the dialogue, I wouldn't have done the show.
Because
It's just, I don't know. I
you didn't like writing the Seinfeld dialogue?
I didn't mind because I didn't have to do the lines. But to have to sit down and memorize lines, I'm too lazy to do that.
Ah, that's the key.
I didn't want to memorize any lines. And I feel like you don't see, because the special that we did when we first started was a documentary.
Right.
Then, as I was thinking about it, in order for it to be a documentary, you couldn't write dialogue because it wouldn't seem like it was real.
Yeah.
It would seem like we were acting. So we had to improvise it. And there's something about that that really makes the show what it is. Because also, I get to do kind of stand-up at the same time that I'm performing. You know, I'll think of something and I'll be able to do it.
I don't know that anyone's done this before, but it seems like an interesting new approach to comedy. I mean, many of the best comedians have done improv, so they're comfortable, I guess, doing improv. And did you do improv, or you just do stand-up?
I just did stand-up, but I took one improv class while I was doing stand-up, and I kind of liked it, and I thought, that's fun to do. And I thought I could do it. Acting, I didn't think I could do, because it just seemed so boring to me. Okay, now it's my turn to talk, you know.
Well, is that why you virtually never appeared in Seinfeld? I mean, you never wrote it yourself, really, other than...
Well, I was so busy.
Yeah.
I didn't care about being in the show. People really think like I was so desperate to be in the show. I didn't care. No.
No. But after Seinfeld was over, you did think about getting back into performing.
Yes, that's how Curb started.
Yeah.
Because I was going to do stand-up, and that was the genesis of Curb.
Right. But you never did. Did you ever go back on the road or anything? Or?
No, the only time I did it was for that special.
Only in that
yeah,
special.
I wrote material for that special. Yeah.
But a lot of former stand-ups say, "Oh, I love stand-up. I'd love to do it again." Would you love to do it again at any point, or you feel like that's something you've done and you don't have to do it anymore?
I feel like if I had the material in my house, I would do it. You know. But I guess I'll do it again. Yeah, I will do it again. But I don't know when. Not for a while.
Well,
It's nerve-wracking.
it's more.
Now would be better. You know.
They love you. There's
they
love
like
here.
me.
Yes.
So, but before, when I was doing stand-up and I would get introduced, I was such a nervous wreck I couldn't even breathe. You know, I'd come out to a group of strangers that had no idea who I was, and. I'll tell you something about good-looking people. We're not well-liked. That's how I started off my show. You know. It was all downhill from there.